Hi, I'm Cindy Abbott Letro for Behind the Camera. We are in the middle of a vast sound studio, and this is what you get when you put a developer, an entrepreneur, and a finance person together in one of the buildings that is really iconic in our region, but one that most people didn't think about, and most people didn't think about as a place to make movies. So joining me today, we've got George Pittas, and he is the entrepreneur part of this trio. Next to him is Jennifer O'Neill, and she's the one with the MBA, and Kevin Callahan, who's a developer. And thank you all for sitting down with me. I've been so excited ever since I first read about what you were trying to do here in Buffalo. And with Quiet Place 2, you made it happen. I mean, you were in existence before that, but that sort of put you on the map. Tell me, Kevin, just a little bit about how this idea to create sound stages came to be.
Well, it happened that we had just acquired the property, and we didn't.
This property, what was it?
This property was originally Buffalo Car and Foundry, so they made rail cars here, dating back to the 1800s. And then during the wars, they made armaments, and then after that, they did some non-rad work for the nuclear weapons programs. And then after that, it sat mostly underutilized for about 50 years until we came along.
And what prompted you to decide films?
Films. Well, we ended up with a tenant that needed to rent space to store basically some props for a movie, and quickly we became friends with them. So when another movie came into town, they needed a place to shoot, and we had some available space. So it kind of started organically, and it's been growing ever since.
George, how did you get drawn into this?
It was an investment that Jennifer and I had made initially into this property. That investment, I guess you could say, kind of went south. And so now, you try to figure out, what do we do from here? And, that's when, Kevin, we partnered up with Kevin because he's the developer and he knew what to do with these big old buildings. And, it kind of went from there.
When you got the idea of the soundstage, I just always wonder where.
That was Kevin. I give credit to Kevin because he's the one who found a tenant that needed us to store those props, and one conversation led to another. I think Kevin could tell you better.
And Jen, were you the one there going, no, this is not a good investment, or did you say, well, what the heck? Well, how do you determine whether it's something to back or not?
I trusted Kevin, and we said, let's go with it. And then we started researching different sound stages and how they generate revenue, and we looked at what we needed to do to bring in Bashira, and we figured, let's give it a shot and see what happens.
Now, Kevin, as the things that I've read about this whole project, and George, whoever wants to jump in, is that they say that when this is all completed, and you've got 2 sound stages ready now, right? Mm-hmm. And there's a third one, and that could very well be like one of the largest in the whole country, correct?
That is correct, yeah. Oh. That would be stage 4. We have.
So there are 3?
There's 4 stages total, yeah.
Okay.
3 is a smaller one, but 4 is going to be probably one of the largest in the country, I believe. I don't know of many stages larger than that. It's 80,000 square feet. It has a 54-foot truss line, which is pretty tall for a building, and it's all clear span.
Why is this space perfect for films, though? Explain that to me. What is it that they need, and why is it this is a good investment? And obviously, you've done a number of films here. What did they do? What do they require?
It's the clear span and the space that's required to build the sets indoors and create, I guess, both indoor and outdoor scenes indoors. Mm-hmm. So they need that vast space to be able to work inside and do what they need to do.
Wow. And how do you prepare? I mean, what is it that they're looking for, Kevin, when the companies come in? What do you need to provide the film companies with?
Well, each film has its own requirements. Again, we started very organically here. So at the beginning, it was basically power, electric, water. After that, we added soundproofing. We brought in all new HVAC, so heating, air conditioning, and basically we added amenities as necessary. So the dressing rooms, administrative offices, basically, we've been growing the infrastructure over the last 2 or 3 years to basically meet the demands of the productions. So, right now, I think we probably have the basic requirements for almost any picture, and then at that point, we fine-tune whatever they're looking for. If they need more dressing rooms, we'd add more dressing rooms. If they need this or that, then now we have the ability to do that. Now that basically most of the infrastructure is already in place.
What was the biggest challenge, Jennifer? I mean, you're the one that's handling the books and looking at, how do I make this deal go? How do I make it successful? I mean, what is this balancing act? What do you find most challenging?
Investing in a soundstage is a lot of money up front. So it was a lot of work up front to be able to get the financing put in place just to get everything done, because everything, from the switches to the sprinklers, I mean, everything just cost a fortune. Mm-hmm. So it's a big time investment to get it all together, but we were able to work with a local bank, and they've helped us greatly along the way to, get it up to where we need to get it to.
Well, and I would also say, because we're really still in the very beginning stages of creating a film industry, a workable film industry here in Buffalo, so that I would think that there's an education process of those people that you're asking.
Yeah, nobody knew what it was. Nobody knew what we were doing. The bank we did work with, we had to bring them down and show them, and then they saw the space. They started to understand and got behind us and all that. So you have to see it to understand it, because a lot of people here just don't understand it. We didn't understand it at the beginning. When we were building the green screen, I had to look up what a green screen was, what a cyc wall was. We had no clue.
Tell me, the green screens, what does that enable you to do here?
So the green screen enables you to create environments, as they're called, that could set you anywhere, whether it be out in the wilderness, in outer space, or something down on Earth. Very, very unique piece of equipment to make incredible things happen.
I want to know what it was like the day that when Quiet Place 2 came. I would think, okay, we've arrived. These are major stars. This is a major motion picture. It is coming to our soundstage. What was that like?
That was exciting. It was
interesting. None of us knew who anybody was when they came, so we were just super excited to have a movie like that. I had seen the first one, so I was excited to see what the second one was about, because I really like horror films. So it was interesting.
Was there a challenge that you wondered if, really you've bitten off more than you could handle?
I think every day it was, do we have the soundproofing we need? Do we have the electricity we need? Every day was a new challenge, but we tackled it one by one.
And were you able to tap into local folks to make this all happen? Because I guess I think about, if you go to New York or you go to Toronto or LA, they have these systems that are all set up. They have all the people that have been trained for years and years and years to do all of these things. Were you able to adapt?
Yeah, I believe so. As crews came in from New York or LA, we started noticing that a lot of people from Buffalo were on those crews. And just local people that were in this industry already, they all just started coming. It was pretty incredible to see. And we have a pretty good crew base here now.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
One day they wanted additional space in the parking lot paved, so we had to get it paved, but they wanted it paved on a Sunday when nobody was here in the middle of summer in Buffalo, when all concrete people are busy. But we were able to work with a local guy who came on a Sunday for us and did it, and was in and out in a day. So everyone in Buffalo really helped get it all together, and there were so many people working on A Quiet Place too that were from Buffalo, that were able to buy houses because of the jobs that they created and the amount of work that they were able to get in the overtime.
And we have just a couple of minutes remaining, but this was all going fast, and then COVID. What have you been doing during this period when all of us and everything is shut down? And what do you hope will happen?
Well, we started stage 4 construction and getting stage 4 done, so hopefully we'll be able to get that done rather sooner than later and get that up and running and get this place full.
Yeah, I believe that's our main focus right now is the 80,000 square foot soundstage.
We put offices in too, so we have offices now.
You haven't wasted the time at all. You haven't been like so many of us just sitting around waiting.
We've been taking advantage of it, but we've been spending a lot of money at the same time.
Kevin, what's your hope for what'll happen, post-COVID?
Well, post-COVID, I would just hope that we can get people back to work. I mean, people, they see the glamour side of it, and it was the biggest eye-opening for me. It was just the amount of people that work on it, and for every person you see on screen, there's another 15 or 20 that are earning a paycheck, paying for their families, paying for their kids' education, paying for their homes, and the sooner we can have the industry back here in Buffalo, with people, earning a union wage and a decent wage, it makes a big difference. And then it's not just, people here that are on the thing. It's even the bodegas that are in the area. There's a Hector's Hardware down the store or down the road that gets quite a bit of business from us. So it's not just even the people here on the pictures. It's also the neighborhood in general. So I'd like to see the industry grow here in Buffalo. I've seen it myself in Wilmington. I've seen it in New Orleans, and part of the reason why to do this is to bring Buffalo's sat fairly stagnant for a very long time, and if we can use this industry to grow the local economy, I think that's the best thing for everybody.
Kevin, one of the things we've been very lucky about that really jumpstart the film industry in Buffalo is the New York State tax credit, and the fact that in Buffalo, it's been a friendly city, for filmmaking. What does it mean to you, and what have you seen from your perspective? Anyone can take this, but maybe you start, Kevin.
We wouldn't exist without the tax credit. Simple as that. You wouldn't have the industry here in Buffalo. As great as Buffalo is, you wouldn't have what we hope to have as a dedicated industry with hundreds of jobs a year. It's based off of that credit. Without that credit, they won't be here, and they'll be somewhere else.
And do you see that as well, Jennifer?
Yeah, and I think the credit also brings in a lot of outside money that wouldn't otherwise be here. All the money A Quiet Place 2 brought in, that was all outside money, and they come here because of the tax credit. And even there is the tax credit, they do get the break with the taxes, but it generates so much money in so many different areas, in sales tax, employment taxes. There's, it generates more than what's given to the production.
Well, I just was saying that because there are some that, in the legislature, and we're sort of going into a tough time for the state with its budget, that there are those that say, well, this is sort of a frivolous thing, but it really does mean jobs and money to the region.
It generates so much money for the communities and for the state alone. All the jobs it creates. All the people that were employed on A Quiet Place 2, they all came here to New York State because of the tax credit, and all those people worked full time all summer long. So it really does great for the local community and for getting people working too.
Congratulations to all three of you. I think it's very exciting. When do you think stage 4 will be done?
It should be, if need be, we can have it done by the spring. Yeah.
Well, let's all keep our fingers crossed. Yeah. And as I said, couldn't say enough kudos to all of you for sticking with it and trying to reinvent Buffalo. I'm Cindy Abbott Letro for Behind the Camera. We'll see you next time.